Survivor Philadelphia. Second season of Survivor Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
As here's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos.
And the hunt is on for the idol.
But it ain't about how hard you hit.
The winner of Survivor Philadelphia Season 2.
It's about how hard you can get it and keep moving forward. How much you can take.
Survivor Philadelphia.
And we are back this week with your Purple Pants podcast coverage of Survivor Philadelphia Season 3, Episode 7. I'm so excited to be joined with my immunity winner. Has several, okay? Mr. Timmy Bridgman, what's popping?
What's good, Bryce? I'm doing great. I'm feeling amazing. It's a beautiful day outside, and it's a beautiful day to talk about some fights that's happening in this game. So I can't wait.
Definitely is. And I feel like, Timmy, because I feel like you are a part of some of the fights, I feel like we need to bring in an unbiased opinion to help me weigh in on this Timmy Manfred. I'm so excited to welcome our friend and former contestant of Survivor Philadelphia. You might remember him as number 92, but we know him as Ryan Cassidy. Ryan, welcome to the podcast.
What up, y'all? I appreciate you having me. It's my debut on the Purple Pants podcast. But I like to come bearing gifts. So I'm just going to say this. Ryan Cassidy, 92. I hear that Mr. First Base is a nickname that's out there too. I got a free dance card for the guy that owns this podcast. So this for you, my boy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we love Ryan bearing gifts. Well, listen, Ryan, I'm not going to play around with you. We're going to hear this podcast. I take my journalistic duties very seriously. I need for you to confirm or deny. Are you really an exotic dancer?
You see, Bryce, I can neither confirm nor deny. I will say that I gave it the old college try. You know, there's always.
What does that mean? No, Ryan, we need a yes or no answer.
Okay. Let me add that to the record.
Yeah, let's go. I would say I'm an amateur exotic dancer. Employed right now, no, but I am freelance. So that's where those dances come in.
Okay, so when's the last time you took a freelance job?
Oh my gosh, probably. I mean, this summer was active. I'll say that. Summer 2024 was fun. Survivor Philly definitely helped get
Ryan, stop being evasive. No, we're not playing. So did you have a freelance job this summer? The people want to know.
I definitely did have a freelance job this summer.
Was it in Philadelphia?
In tri-state area for sure.
What time was this said freelance job at? What was the hours?
Bryce
becoming sunshine.
Yeah. I'm not a regularly scheduled program, but I will say that in the future, my phone line is open and there's definitely opportunities to be had and to take an advantage of, which we're going to talk about some opportunities that we're
Ryan, what does that mean? Nothing. That like you just said a whole bunch of nothing.
Bryce, it's crazy because I think I heard something that a true magician never reveals his secrets. So,
okay,
whatever. Like
Ryan.
I never revealed I voted for Natasha.
Oh. Exactly. Timmy knows what's up.
Listen, I'm trying to just get the people to help support you. We trying to support the cause, but that's fine. If you want to be a sunshine and be invasive and not answer the questions, but say a whole bunch of something, go ahead. But Timmy, we have a very jam-packed episode this episode. I feel like not a lot happened, but a lot happened. So what we got going on?
So let's go straight to what is on a lot of people's mind, right? There's this big fight at the very end. But before we can get to that, we got to backtrack a little bit because the episode starts off with a quick interjection with the sands of time where we're hearing a word of wisdom from Ben.
Is it the sands of time or is it just
the jury of time? The jury of time. Keep it in a theme, and we hear some good words from Ben. Ben is pretty much saying he wanted to play the game, he wanted to shake it up, but Green was rock solid, nothing was changing. But do we know if that's going to stay true for the entirety of this episode? Absolutely not. And we see that play out as soon as we get back to camp right after Ben is voted out. And we see a lot of people talking. But first and foremost, we get to hear the perspective of Robinette. And to me, Robinette is like the tortoise in this game. And she's someone who I think is going slow with the flow, who has that wisdom, who knows that if she goes at this pace, it's going to work out and it's going to be all right. I don't think everybody can be that tortoise in that game. I think I might be the hare. We'll see later on. Oh. But I think that's a great point for us to start our talk about.
I think Robinette is great. I might be calling it a little too soon. Robinette is my winner pick, right? She is as solid as a rock. I love this episode, how Robinette be in her confessionals like, I don't say nothing. They come up to me and they just tell her all of the plans, i.e. Gabe, i.e. Ben last episode. And so I really love Robinette's position. I think that she's like a strong player. I think that she doubts herself because she's like, I don't know what the hell I got into. She's not like a Ryan Cassidy, we see him out there. He knows why he's out there. Every time you see him on the camera, he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but listen, I'm gonna tell you this, baby boy. Like, like Ryan is delivering what we want him to deliver. With, I feel like Robinette, I feel like we are seeing her unfold, and I love that about her. So I'm going on record. My first official winner pick is Robinette.
I think she deserves it too. Like, when the game of Survivor, it's all about information. We all know that. And I think the concept of the information bank account is one that's not talked about enough. Robinette has been in such a good position since the beginning of the game, playing with Fairmount, winning a couple challenges, winning the first individual challenge. She is now in a position, like she said, to be kind of under the radar, kind of like floating down the lazy river in such a leisurely way while other people are like fighting in their tubes at each other. I think Robinette is in a phenomenal position. And, you can see it. I know we're going in chronological order here. I threw out Robinette's name because I was concerned that the person with the most information is going to use that against me. Robinette already voted for Ryan Cassidy, so I don't know how that works. That's a biased perspective, but looking at Robinette as a game player, she's got the right equation to go through the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, to get to the end and win.
Hey, that's true. Seeing it like that, if she's somebody that's running the bank and you want to take their spot, you got to take out the banker. This ain't deal or no deal, but for her, it might be no deal. And in your book, she already put your name down. And one thing we can bet on is the fact that you're after her this round, and a lot more people than that. But I think if she's the banker and this game is all about finance, then I feel that there's a couple people and a couple players that's trying to rob the bank, that's trying to shut this game down and switch it up. I like to think of it as Viva la Revolution, because I'm trying to go away with all the kind of currency in this game, all the green bucks that we trying to keep a hold of and keep in our pocket. I'm like, let's spend it. Let's go. Jasmine is also on that same page. Let's shake stuff up. We see folks on the jury even commenting the same thing. So something's changing. Something's happening.
Timmy, so I know we normally go in chronological order, but can we jump around this episode? Because first of all, I love you, Timmy. Like, I don't play about my Timmy. However, let me just cuss you out real quick, because during this podcast and during the episode, you had a lot of energy, like, let's make a move. I'm trying to make a move, this and that. It's real convenient when you have a immunity necklace around your necklace to be wanting to make all of these moves. Everyone from the original Fairmount is like, one more. Let's wait. One more vote. Tim's like, all right, I hear what y'all saying. I'm going to go see what some other people are saying because I'm trying to shake some shit up. Yep. You was pissing me off, Timmy, because I'm like, wow, your immunity privilege is really showing this episode. And then Ryan, Timmy took me out this episode, and I don't know, he might have been talking to Manfred when Timmy was like, it's now or never. I said, who the hell is this man from Mississippi? Because he's not from Mississippi no more, okay?
I mean, that good old boy, he knows what's up. I mean, we're talking about finances. Timmy, you're the international bank and you got currency to every country, and like that's a thing that I think we'll get to tribal council and everything and how that went. But gosh, I do think that having that immunity and to see your power, to see how easy it was for you to jump between conversations, like we're all kind of walking on thin ice on eggshells. I was so envious of you, how easy it was for you to be like, hey, yo, this is a conversation I got to be in. This is one I can influence. This is one I got to listen to. So it's like you were very selective at the same time. And like, I haven't won individual immunity yet. I don't know how that power feels, but it's like, I can imagine in such a short game, you're going to want to make an impact in as little amount of time. You got 4 minutes, 5 minutes to talk to people before you got to go to tribal. But yeah, man, I mean, you were flowing like a river out there.
Man, hey, I appreciate it. But Ryan, something you brought up that I think is so true. We always hear the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover. And I think, Ryan, in this game, a lot of players saw you as an encyclopedia with the words challenge threat on the cover of it in big, bold, green letters.
What they say
with the white border around it.
Looks can be deceiving, okay? Because it's been nothing but a disappointment.
Oh my gosh. And you invited this face on the podcast after you say that. Wow.
Listen, we still trying to get the location of your part-time job.
Finish your thought, Timmy. Finish your thought. Timmy, finish your thought.
Oh, no, it's all good. But the thing is, I'm agreeing, Bryce. Ryan hasn't done anything to warrant this. If anything, like he said, and like Jasmine brought up in the episode, it's people like Robinette, players like me, for example. I didn't get thrown out there because I happened to be safe, but Robinette, somebody that won the challenge before. So I don't know why Ryan still has this big target of challenge threat when he hasn't won any challenges.
It is interesting though, Ryan, hearing you say that about Timmy, right? Like how you're saying that Timmy, like you're able to move through these conversations. In earlier episodes, I heard you say the same thing about Gabe, how charismatic he is and how funny it is. And I think that's so interesting, because I personally know you, right? I think that's like so weird because I think that you hold that as well. I think maybe on a physical aspect, you are built like a gladiator, a Greek god, an X-Men, an exotic dancer, a Jersey boy. But like, so I don't know. So I think that maybe, is that like you trying to do damage control from your like a physicality standpoint that like you look so Zaddy-esque?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, everybody's got a threat level. Everybody also, like we just said, comes in with a stereotype. They come in with a look. I think for me, no matter what, whether it's Survivor, no matter whether it's the world, like I try to listen to people a lot more because they do expect me to talk so much, talk their ear off, tell them how I did in the gym this week, how I did at work. Like it's just, I don't care for that. I'd much rather be an empath. I am an empathetic kind of person.
Expect you to give them the updates, or do you give them the updates and then they expect the updates because you've given them the updates?
No, I don't come forth with that. I mean, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, Bryce. Like I'm going to want to listen to you and give you the information and give you the conversation that you're looking for. Like, was I the first person to talk on a Purple Pants podcast today? No, I was not. I wanted to let y'all set the scene. And like, first off, I'm the guest, but you want to listen and then respond in a way that is appropriate. But yeah, man, for me, I think it's more like I want people to know that I lead with heart, even though I got this whole facade in front of you. But I think that that's something that, like, thinking about where different people are coming from, like, you don't know who they are until they got their story that said. And like, I think that that's the power of this season right here is like, you see how people look, you see their stereotype, you see how they play the game. And then you look at their story and their background. It's like, does that make sense? Does that check out? And it makes you question everything. And like, I think that's the beauty of Survivor is like, what comes next? I don't know what this person's going to do. Do I have that lion, and do I have that shark that smells blood mentality in me? For sure I do. Y'all saw it in the merge episode. I said, if I can win this game, then everybody's got to lose. I got that gear in me. It's just about when are you flicking that gear on?
flick of the wrist.
Mm.
So another interesting thing, and shout out to Alex G with his editing this episode. I didn't know if YouTube got hacked and Survivor 40 Several was getting ready to come on. The way Alex G was editing, talking to us, walking up to the chart. Like I said, who does Alex G think he is? I absolutely love it. I loved this challenge. And so Alex G starts us off with the challenge that there is an idol in the middle of, I don't know, what is it, the lighthouse or whatever you want to call it. But the challenge is idle hands. And it's kind of a classic Survivor challenge where you have a platform, something sits on top of it, and it's a physical challenge. We haven't seen physical challenges in Survivor in such a long time. So if you are a Purple Pants Posse member, and you're missing that, you need to be making sure that you're subscribed to Survivor Philadelphia on YouTube and catching every episode on every Tuesday to see what's going on. Now, I need to ask you both, after seeing that there was an idol in the house, the lighthouse, did we know? Were we shocked?
Bryce, and I love Alex G. For me, that idol was as visible as the top of the refrigerator when I'm standing in front of it. And for folks who don't know, I'm 5'7", so I'm not seeing the top of the refrigerator. I did not see that idol whatsoever. And I was one of the players who competed in the challenge the most.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I think like it's genius game design. Such chef's kiss, Survivor 41-esque, breaking that fourth wall. I loved it, and of course I was jealous. I had no idea, but I'm going to be honest. I think after the first challenge, I was done with getting things publicly advantages because I just would have embarrassed myself again. But to be honest, I do think that there was a couple moments even in the challenge where there's like a zoom in where like Jasmine or somebody's like picking it up, or maybe it was Paige, I forget. But they pick it up and like they give it like a little bit of a shake, and then you realize like maybe if it was something that was like a little bit looser in there, it didn't have that like soft covering. Maybe you're like, hey, there's something in here, and I'm gonna check. Maybe it's the Bryce Isaiah candy that got shown earlier, and there was an advantage in there. So who knows?
And that's
Maybe it was a free ticket to the 47 tour. Who knows?
Maybe it was a free dance card. Who knows?
Listen, and I will be using that during the holiday season. It was interesting because also as I'm watching from home, you know, I'm rooting for Timmy. And first of all, it's like, I feel like, Timmy, you played more challenges than anyone, right? Sunshine called you back in. Sunshine said, all right, Timmy, it's time for you to go in. But Timmy, you were killing it. What do you have to say about this immunity win?
Yeah, it felt like going in the challenge that many times. It felt like I was the last meatball at a baby shower. The way that everybody was trying to come to me, or
Timmy, wait, real
I was
quick.
in the ring.
Timmy, I feel like that's like a real like black thing. Do you know what he means by saying a meatball at a baby shower, Ryan?
I feel like it's either a baby or a physical baby, or it's actually a last meatball. Like maybe there was catering.
So I feel like, Ryan, in the black community, we have baby showers, and I don't want to be invited to a baby shower if there is not a crock pot with meatballs in it. It's like meatballs are just a staple in a black household baby shower. Would you agree, Timmy?
I would agree. I feel like it's like one of those rare delicacies that's specifically for this event. It's the one thing you got to have. Like, you can't have a watch party for the football game without some pizza, perhaps, or, you know, a relative special dish at Thanksgiving. It's the same thing in that it's the one last thing of something everybody wants. But in this sense, for me, it's not that everybody wants to work with me. It's everybody wants to see me in that ring. And that's how I was fighting for my life, in that I was going 4 times in that entire challenge.
How did you feel, Ryan, going against Sunshine? Did you think you had it in the bag when you were facing against him, or what were your thoughts?
Somebody put them against each other. I don't know.
Yeah,
who.
you see, there was. You see, there was the big green giants. It calls the Hulks at that point. Yeah, I mean, we were shocked, and of course, I don't think it was put in the edit, but me and Sunshine did have a chat real quick after that. Like, Timmy put us in on purpose. We knew that, but at the same time, like, once again, you kind of take things at face value. Like, if I were you, Timmy, and I saw, and it was probably me picking, I probably would have picked maybe you and Sunshine, maybe maybe you and Manfred, because I knew that there was a little bit of something stirring up there. But, you want to make sure that those rivalries come to fruition, because that is a distraction for everybody else to see other than you, right? Like in that moment that Timmy Bridgman's on the sideline and it's Ryan and Sunshine in the circle, they're not looking at you because there's something to look at, but they're also probably not thinking like, why did Timmy do that? They're just looking at the two people battling as gladiators in this ring of fire. So I'm going to be honest, I would have done the same thing. I don't blame you, bro. But Sunshine plays basketball. That dude's got reach. I thought that I had a chance because I'm a pretty agile, shifty dude sometimes, but Timmy and Manfred as well, perfected that strategy of the toss up and the smack. I think it was Wu, actually. I don't know if it was Kagian or Second Chance, but that's the strategy you got to go in with. And I didn't even have a freaking second to blink and try and pull it off.
Yeah. And Timmy wins, and it is magnificent. I'm celebrating, and now we kind of break off. And I want to say, like, this probably has been one of the best episodes in actually seeing people talk, seeing strategy. I feel like it's the most time that we have had. And off the bat, I immediately felt for Jasmine and Jalissa, right? I love Jalissa. I think that she's amazing. I also love something like similar to Robinette, that is Jalissa, is that because she is so quiet, right? Like, it's almost scary. It's like powerful, right? Like, Jalissa doesn't give you much. You'd be like, girl, it's a fire. Jalissa be like, like, you're like, but it's so interesting when we get to see her confessionals, how she's really like nervous and panicking inside, but she's very demure, very classy, very mindful. And so off the bat, I, am rooting for my South Jerseys. And so I'm rooting for my girl Jasmine. And so automatically they're at the bottom and they're trying to like figure things out. Describe to me what this time is like for both of you guys. Seeing this shake and hustle. Is Fairmount going to stick together? Are we going to make a big move? Walk me through this.
I'll start, since I don't know how to not jump the gun in this game, as we see. Earlier, I mentioned how if Robinette's the tortoise in this game, then I'm the hare. And for me, this round, having immunity, I felt like I was the star player on the basketball team. I knew I was going to get playtime. I knew I had the chance to get out in the field and really shake things up how I might want to. And that's how I approached it. But I think Manfred was the coach and Paige was the assistant coach, in that they were dictating what players were doing what and how the game was actually going to happen. And for me, that was frustrating, because I thought that I was moving a mile a minute and everybody else is going in slow motion. I wanted something to happen. I wanted to shake up, and I didn't want to just let something go on without it being the thing that I wanted to do. So I felt bold. I felt like I was in power to do something big, but in this court that we call Survivor, felt like I couldn't grab the ball with my whole palm. And I actually can't, because my hand is kind of small.
Hey, I mean, Timmy, you said it though, bro. You were that last meatball. I mean, you had more power, like Survivor is about leverage. It's about timing. This game more than ever, now or never, about timing. I think you did a good job with the time that you had, but the thought that eventually comes to vote out somebody different than who was talked about during the scramble was just an interesting chat that we'll get to in a couple of minutes from now. But yeah, man, I think maybe if we had that one-on-one conversation, you're like, we got to do it now. I would have been all ears, because personally, and I'm going to do a quick bias and then unbiased, like biased wise, I can't make a move because I'm next. Like that's just how my look goes, unless I win out, unless I make a big move and win out individual immunities, even like as somebody who could do challenges and maybe do well in them, like I don't think the challenges really deserve a win. I usually think that the strategy, like the wit of outwit, outplay, outlast, is definitely the one that's weighted the heaviest. So I will say, like, yeah, I saw poor Jasmine and Jalissa, and like I was like, Robinette, like I had to say a name because they had to vote for somebody, and poor Robinette ends up getting a couple votes. I didn't even vote for Robinette, but at the same time, like it's crazy how one name can kind of stick like Velcro to somebody's brain, and then it's like it doesn't leave. because of these different things. And then, of course, Robinette comes over and has this beautiful Freudian slip, like, purple time. How great was that? Robinette is so real. She is the best. Can we just talk about purple time for 1 second?
That was,
Listen, we love purple time.
We
we
love it.
love purple time over here, but the South Jersey and Jasmine came out when she heard purple time. She said, "Ain't no need for us to talk. Keep it moving, sis." And it's interesting because also Paige is someone, right, who I feel like in this episode, one, I'm torn between Paige, right? I like Paige. She's part of Fairmount. Fairmount is where my heart is. However, when Emma left a couple of episodes and when she kind of like laid it out to Paige, I don't know why I feel like I took Emma's side. So I feel like I look at Paige a little crazy. But I really feel like in this episode, it really feels like Paige is like grasping for something, right? And she keeps saying like next episode, or not, next move. And so Ryan, you are saying you're feeling like you're next, but as a viewer, I feel like if Timmy doesn't win immunity, the way that everything kind of shaped out this episode, there's a huge target on his back. I also feel like the way that Paige is moving, and I don't think that she's doing anything not just loyal, but also, where's the Girls Alliance, girl? I thought you said you was going to work on the Girls Line. Where's that at? Okay, I don't know. But there's just something about Paige. But again, I like Paige. Something else that I thought was funny, as new names start entering the chat and everyone's giving confessionals, Ryan is going to give a presidential confessional. Timmy's heart beating on 1,000. He giving a confessional. Then we get to the Sunshine confessional, where Sunshine, I think he forgets that the camera people are not in the game, because Sunshine start talking to the camera people like, well, I went in with a name and I'm probably going to stick with that name. Other names have come out, but this is the name that will stay, because a name is a name and it's not just a name. I'm watching the thing like, what the hell did Sunshine say? Then he's back with the people and he's like, yeah, I went in with a name and I'm going to stick with that name. I'm like, what? Like, was that not shady to y'all, or am I just like on a Sunshine kick? Now, mind you, I loved it, but I was like, what is going on?
You see, Sunshine is an enigma. He's such a mystery. And like, I think I got that the second we got to Fairmount. And like, once again, you kind of got to ride with people's characters. You got to ride with like what they're going to give you, what they're not going to give you. Sunshine wasn't a name person. There's people who are name people. Timmy, you're a name person. Ryan, I'm a name person. We got name. Like, I think that the name people get people out. And the people who are not named people, they form relationships and they continue to play the game. Would you rather have a name be thrown out and then maybe be on the chopping block next, or not throw that name out, strategize your way through the game, and maybe make it pretty far? So I think it's interesting. But Sunshine himself, my dude, he's the steel curtain. Nothing's getting past that dude. He is bulletproof. And I honestly, as a viewer, I love it. I respect it. But you want a little more meat in the bone, right? You want to chew on like, what are these thoughts? Like, give us the name. It's right. Like Jeff sitting at tribal council. Like, I just want to know how things are going on at your camp. Please let me in. Please let me in.
Yeah, to me, Sunshine's that student in the back of my class who's just quiet, who you don't really know is as involved as it might seem that he is. He's the one who's getting the hundreds on the exams, and everybody else around him is talking, maybe on their phone, distracted, but he's the person that's succeeding where it really matters. And I think that is what makes him so interesting as a player in the game. And also somebody who, me as a teacher, I'm like, okay, but I want you to participate more in class. Like, I want you to speak up a little more too. So like, let's see what's going on in your brain. We know it's there, but we need you to tell us something too at the same time.
I completely agree. Another person I want to talk about is Gabe, right? Where I completely see what you are saying, Ryan, right? Because soon as everybody get together, Gabe is like, if we get the middle's number, we can stick together and then we could go. We can make moves. And I'm like, oh, look at Gabe. And then the second that the tides might be shifting a little bit, then all of a sudden you see baby Gabe like, I don't know. I'm at the bottom. Just tell me which way to vote. tell me which way to vote. And I'm like, Gabe is sneaky. I'm like, maybe Ryan was right early on. Now, mind you, I love it because I want Gabe to go far, but I'm like seeing that drastic shift in him. I'm like, Gabe is playing all of y'all because he is mindful, he's thoughtful, he understands the game. Listening to him talk to Robinette, I said, oh, Gabe. And then when he realizes in positions of power, and I think it might have been you, Timmy, when you were coming up to him, how he was just like, I'm at the bottom. I have no power. Tell me which way to vote. Tell me where to vote. Because Gabe was like, I'm not a name person. You tell me a name, I'm going to go with it. I was like, okay, Gabe, I see what you're doing out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Gabe did a phenomenal job this round, I think, of just like planting seeds of like maybe what can come next. I mean, he's literally bearing the fruit of the last round, Timmy, between you and also, you know, with Robinette as well. Like that's as soon as once again, Velcro, as soon as people or thoughts or names like stick to you, like it's tough to take it off. So I think that I talked about that lazy river earlier. Gabe's the one that's dictating that current. All right, like he's the one. Is it going forward, left, right, up, down, diagonal? He's doing a phenomenal job of like once again flowing that information in a way that helps his game because nobody's sniffing out Gabe. I think that he's probably the only name this round that didn't come up, other than Timmy, of course. That was like, hey, like let's talk about this. Like maybe he's got, and you said it earlier, Bryce, that he started off in such a difficult position and now has been here, like started from the bottom. Now he's final 8, and it's like, damn, that's a hell of a story to tell.
Yes,
it absolutely is. I felt like he was, if we're the 3 lions, as he's saying, that he's the one who's the leader of the pack. Maybe not the one who's always at the front, but the one who knows how to engage with every member in a unique, specific way. That's what makes him the leader. So I agree.
Yes. Now, to all the listeners and watchers out there, I was actually here present. You know, I was still eating my Chipotle. And at this point in time in the game, it was given very much, all right, you know that SpongeBob gif where it's like, all right, I'm going to head out now. I was ready to say my goodbyes and head back to my, you know, casa. But baby, this tribal council happened. And I said, I think I'm going to stay a little bit longer. Ryan, tell us about the fireworks that took place at this tribal council.
Well, y'all got to see my look on my face in order to see how I felt. I mean, it was nothing but fireworks on the 4th of July in a dark sky with stars behind it. It was glorious. I mean, you want to talk about chef's kiss, Timmy. Phenomenal theatrics. I loved every second of it. I just wish there was communication about it before because Manfred is a power player in this game. And as somebody who was sitting right next to you, who would have maybe considered that, this is, hindsight's always going to be 20/20, but it was theatrics. It was fireworks. It was so interesting because Manfred said it himself. There was plans that were already locked in, plans that were going to be, sought through. And it's like, is this just a plan that's going to happen in the future? Is this a plan that's going to happen right now? So it was like everything was in question, including the votes that all of us had. But was it enough? Once again, tick tock, was it enough time to switch that vote? I don't think it was.
Now,
the questions was at the goal.
Oh, was it? Oh, you got to watch next week.
Now, I love Manfred. That's my good sis. I think Manfred is amazing. Now, mind you, first of all, Manfred pumped down on my good Judy Tim. However, Timmy, don't be mad at me. I kind of was on Manfred's side a little bit. And mind you, it was so funny because when Manfred got hot, Manfred was like, ain't come to think of it, from the get-go, you was lying about the Natasha vote. I was like,
notes.
Okay, Manfred came. And then, mind you, now I will say, Timmy, mind you, I'm paraphrasing, but Timmy's last line, you said something like, well, listen, I'm not going back and forth with you. Tonight might be your final night, and tonight the night. Something like that. I said, that immunity necklace is getting to Timmy. Now, mind you, Timmy, I love you. I was kind of on Manfred's side a little bit, only from watching this episode, Timmy. You were exuding power, and as a viewer that has been following everyone's story, Manfred clocked your lie a while ago and was like, okay, I can't trust Timmy. Now here we are, and it's like, let's hold down the fort, let's get rid of one more purple, and then let's kind of make big moves. And you was like, all right, I hear what y'all talking, but I'm going to go somewhere else because I'm trying to make big moves. So it's like, I get where Manfred is coming from. Also, I'm not mad because what you say is now or never. So I'm not, I'm always going to rock what you send me, but because I just feel like I'm a viewer watching this. And like from a viewer, I'm like, I'm not mad at Manfred, but you did eat at Tribal. What's your thoughts?
Listen, even my mama texts me asking, what did Manfred do to you? I'm like, you're supposed to be on my side, is what I'm thinking in my head. But it's absolutely right. Manfred didn't do nothing specifically to me, but Manfred was somebody who I was watching through the whole game. At the very beginning, the very first Tribal we had, I voted for Manfred for a reason. Manfred was somebody who I knew had such amount of potential and knew how to play the game. So in Tribal Council, I'm thinking, ain't nobody told me nothing. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I walked into the wrong classroom and nobody's going to tell me the class that I'm actually supposed to be in. I decide to try to steer things my way to try to make the game happen in a way that I wanted it to happen. So of course I'm like, well, I'm going to put my name or put the name of Manfred down. I was hoping that it would be something that purple would latch onto and maybe a couple people from green could hear this as a potential plan and maybe stick to it, because I hadn't heard of Robinette's name that whole round. I didn't get the chance to talk one-on-one with Ryan to hear that name show up. And when I talked to Jalissa and Gabe, nobody said Robinette. So I'm lost, but I still had that card in the back of my pocket ready to go to work and go to action.
You swiped it. You swiped that card.
I think it declined, though.
It definitely did decline. It said insufficient funds, but you definitely swiped it. Now, Timmy, let me ask you a question, because I think that you are watching you on this screen, right? Like, I'm like, Timmy would be great for the actual game of Survivor, right? Like, I think that you would be amazing. If you were ever to play Survivor again, right? And you are in a predicament like this where you want to make a move, you have the power, but clearly the tide is not, Gabe's tide down the lazy river is not going the direction that you want it to go. Is there something that you could have done differently in this particular instance, right? Because I feel like, well, just answer that question, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but actually I will, because I feel like you have made yourself a target at this point, right? Because I feel like you have said to everybody, like, I got the immunity, F y'all, it's Timmy way or no way. And I feel like had you kind of like, timing is everything, and knowing when to make big moves. And if you would have kind of like went in, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, is there anything that you could have learned from this Monday morning quarterbacking?
Absolutely. Would I have done stuff differently in the future? Who knows? I think I definitely learned from it in the sense that, so like, for example, I have never been somebody who likes to follow rules, especially old rules, right? I grew up hearing that people who are queer, can't be Christian, or they can't do this, or love is supposed to be between man and woman. So those are things that I knew some people believed in, but didn't apply to me. And because of that, I never have been a person to follow things in a way that other people would want it to be followed, right? Because like, even in my job as a professor, I'm the type of professor who my students call me Mr. Timmy. On my syllabus is Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce. I do things in a different way. I like to see myself as a walking revolution in some way. In the game of Survivor, you can't always be that walking revolution, because the game of Survivor is the revolution in itself. It's many revolts happening all around you when people are throwing out your name or your ally's name. I think my challenge would be if I would know how to hold my tongue and follow some rules just to get by, to get to where I want to be, or do I continue to do things my way and try to push back against what I feel is something that I don't want to do? But in a game of Survivor, I'm going to think smart, I'm going to know everything that's on the line. I'm going to try my best to bite my tongue, even if it means it bleeds a little, to get to the end and be the sole survivor. And it's going to happen one day. Who knows?
It will. And two things can be true at the same time, Timmy, right? Like you can buck against what society is telling you, and you also can take heed a little. You know, two things can be true. Would you not agree, Ryan?
Yeah, I do agree. I think let's look at somebody who's on season 47 right now. Asia Welch said it best. You got to forge your own path. I think you did that for yourself real well, Timmy. I said it to you from day one, minute one. Like, my best friend's name is Timmy. Like, you look for things that connect with people. I think you did the same thing. Like, we're cut from the same cloth, whether it's location, whether it's from the Lord or something like that. I think I agree with you. Everything that you just said right there. You know, you want to be able to fit within the confines of the game, but then sometimes your growth just goes outside those walls. You know, sometimes you got the branches, you got the leaves that just kind of stick over the edge, and it's like, I think that can be really beautiful when people see those branches kind of grow beyond the constraints of itself. But yeah, I think both of those things can be true at the same time. And like every Survivor game, whether it's 1 day, 26 days, 39 days, there's never going to be enough time. There's never going to be enough moments to connect with people. But I think you said it perfectly. And if that was your final tribal council speech, I'm on that jury. You're getting my vote, man.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it. But like I said before, this might have been Timmy laying the railroad tracks down for the future. You know, I was safe. And as I said in the end of my speech, it might not be my time right now for this move, but it might be yours, Manfred.
Yeah, that was clean. No, that was clean. That was hard. That was hard.
You definitely ate. The game is now or never, and it definitely was now time for Jaleesa. Unfortunately, she got the
pull one out. Pull one out for Jaleesa. All right.
Yeah.
She was too pure for this game. She was so real. Pull one out for Jaleesa.
I don't got nothing to pour. But you know what, little, you know, but Jaleesa killed it. And I also think that like she did great in this game. Like, I think that her one downfall was that she was so guarded. However, I think a huge positive of hers was that she was so guarded, right? So it was really sad to see Jaleesa go, but I definitely feel like if we are preparing for a baby shower next week, the stove is turned on, the pot is on the stove, and we have the meatballs in the container because Ish is cooking. It is moving. Survivor Philadelphia is definitely alive, and I can't wait to cover it next week with Tim, Ryan. It's a true honor to have you on here. Any final words before we conclude?
Hey, it's a pleasure. I love y'all so much. Timmy, Bryce, everybody, Survivor Philadelphia, seasons 1, 2, and 3, production. Everybody is so great. Survivor itself, tune in this season. We got a next episode coming up next week. It's going to be a big one. Apparently, there's 2 winners of a challenge. That's pretty crazy. I don't know what's about to happen, but it's going to be something fun. I want to say thank you again. It's all love.
Thank you. Timmy?
Absolutely. You know, the barbecue is getting ready to happen. The meatballs finna be on the grill. And if I'm a viewer, I'm going to have my bib on because it's time to dive in. Again, shout out to everybody who helps in any way on Survivor Philly. Big shout out to Ryan Cassidy. Like, I really love Ryan. Ryan is amazing, great guy. And I'm so thankful to have the chance to talk with him here. And Bryce, again, I'm looking forward to next week when me and you and maybe a special guest discusses and talks about the next episode.
Yes. Well, this has been your Purple Pants coverage of Survivor Philadelphia, Season 3, Episode 7. Before we go, Ryan, what's the name of the location? We trying to figure something out here, Ryan.
Just go to Hunkamania in Philly. That's it.
We'll be back next week. See you later.
Peace.
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.